Good morning, everybody. Um, I hope that you are doing well this morning. Today is a Monday, so it's time for Marketing Monday. And so I wanted to talk about today what I wanted to talk about today. Man, I'm telling you right now, first of all, I probably look better, right? If my hair is any indication, I probably look better than my brain actually feels today. Um, uh, so anyway, today's Marketing Monday, we're going to be talking about your expert's portfolio. And then actually, I'm doing an exclusive Marketing Monday live stream in the Defiant Business group. So you'll want to make sure to head on over there um, once you have finished this one. And I'm wondering how good my audio is. I was silly and forgot to check out my audio. Hmm, let's see. There I am. Yeah, audio sounds fine. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I do not have anybody watching at the moment, but that's fine. So you will catch this when you catch it, but today is a Marketing Monday, and that is when I go live to give you an important marketing tip, tactic, perspective shift, something that you can use right now. And in some of the speaking groups and things that I've done, interviews and just me kind of running my mouth in some of the in comment sections and stuff, I've brought up this thing called the X. And we're back. Okay. So, Marketing Monday. Sorry about that. Expert's portfolio. So, what is an expert's portfolio? And that's what people like to ask me. Okay, what do you mean exactly when you say expert's portfolio? And what this means is when we're talking about the radically authentic authority marketing method, my method. When we're talking about that, I refer to something called the expert's portfolio. Now, some people call this a speaker's resume, but it doesn't quite do it justice. It really doesn't. And so I would recommend that you use a combination of a speaker's resume when it's asked for. So, like, I have a speaker's resume for when people request it, but you also want to use your expert's portfolio. And most of the time, I default to the expert's portfolio, um, even if somebody hasn't asked for my speaker's resume. And I will explain that in a moment. So, what goes in your expert's portfolio? And what this part is the part where I call it an expert's portfolio versus calling it a speaker's resume. An expert's portfolio doesn't just have recordings of your speaking engagements, it also has your guest posts listed. It also has podcast interviews listed. Some people consider that speaking and some people don't, particularly because a podcast interview generally isn't live, right? But it also has your podcast interviews in it. It's got any interviews you've done, whether they're video or just audio. It also has your expert contribution. So when you submit a quote or something to be included in an article, your expert's portfolio also has those listed. And so in the beginning, my expert's portfolio had more of those than it had anything else, the expert contributions and articles. But what that did for me was it showed that people valued my expertise, and that is why I put them on that page. If you look at my experts portfolio now, what you will see, and actually maybe we should just go on over. Oh, that was loud. Go on over and check out my experts portfolio. How's that? That's different. So Let's see. So I will go ahead and share my screen, I think. It's not working. This is so sad. Let's see. All right. Well, oh, duh. I'm so dumb. I didn't click the share screen button. Oh, it's that kind of Monday. Okay, so now that we've gone on into infinity. So when you come onto my experts portfolio, so that's my work portfolio for the company, Defy the Status Quo. Interviews and features is what I call this. So when you land on this page, in the beginning, what it mostly had on it were these here, these contributions. And these are things I've gotten through Harrow and things like that. But now I also have a section for guest articles when I've done guest posts and things and interviews and things like that that are written down. This is where I put those. And then here are my podcast interviews that are primarily just audio. And then here are different video interviews and speaking that I have done. Now, that is typically what goes in your expert's portfolio. Um, those are the types of opportunities you should be looking for. And that can be, if you're in somebody's ebook as a guest contributor, you can put those types of things in there too. Obviously, it's more of a mention. You're not putting the actual ebook in your portfolio. But let's move on to talking about how you can use your expert's portfolio. So an expert's portfolio it should be easy. Like mine has a link, right? Because it's a page on my site, and I copy and paste that page. Actually, I know it by heart, so I type it. But I copy and paste or type that page pretty much anywhere where somebody's like, hey, I'm looking for a podcast guest. Hey, I'm looking for speakers. And so that might be in Facebook groups. That might be on LinkedIn, but I will post it right in the comments. Hey, my specialty is authority marketing. I'm an authority marketing strategist. I'm also a U.S. Army veteran, a mom, and a plethora of other things. Here's my experts portfolio for examples of me speaking and being in interviews, so you know exactly what you're getting. And I look forward to talking more. So I always just drop it right in the comments. Like I don't DM people with it, because people, when they put these things out in these groups or on LinkedIn or whatever, they get a ton of response usually. So I want to make it as easy as possible for them to see up front that I am a great candidate for what it is that they're looking for. And that's why I just dropped the link right there, because I can click that link and go over it and be like, okay, let me check this out. Push play on a video real quick to see how Ruthie sounds. Like, does she sound like she knows what she's talking about? And so that is how I use that usually. So I also put it in my signature block. And I think that this is important because, we email clients, we email prospects, we email all sorts of people. And putting the link to your expert's portfolio in your signature block can help them kind of refresh if they feel like they're like, oh, Ruthie does interviews and stuff. Oh, let me click on that. Let me see. So a lot of people don't do that. Like it seems like a ton of people are getting interviewed all the time, and that's true, but there are actually more people who aren't doing that at all. Think about it. Like there are more people who aren't doing interviews and things. So I'll put it in my signature block. And so I've had clients click on it and be like, oh, I didn't realize XYZ. And so that's a great way to start conversations. Include it when you submit Harrow responses. Help a reporter out. They put out emails 3 times a day where you can submit queries, or they have queries and you can submit responses. I always include it in my signature block, interviews and features, because you never know what else these people are up to. And I've gotten podcast interviews and things from this because they end up clicking on the link and saying, hey, I actually do other XYZ. I'm interested in having you do that for me or do that with me. But yeah, the big thing, I always drop it in the comments, the link for my experts portfolio, because you never know who else is clicking through, who else is watching. If somebody has posted looking for speakers, but then somebody sees my experts portfolio and they have a podcast, then that is an opportunity for them to also check me out. And so finally, I want to close with my new idea for expert portfolios that we're going to be implementing ASAP. So how do you capture testimonials from events that you've spoken at or podcasts that you've done interviews for? I could type them. I could ask somebody to write it up and type it and give it back to me. I could do that. But I've used this platform in the past. It's called Video Ask. videoask, and it's created by Typeform. And what it allows you to do is to do surveys, but to also capture video feedback. And so I had this idea where I was like, hey, what if I asked people whose events that I've spoken at, podcasts I've done interviews for, if they could give me a 30-second testimonial that I can then use on my website, right? And put it on my interviews and features page. So what that does again is it kind of rounds it out. So I've also now got references that I can use that are right here on this page. So it's not just me saying, hey, I was awesome. Again, because these people invited me on. So that gives me a certain amount of credibility. But if I am also able to get these testimonials, and videoask.com makes it super easy. You just send them a link and then they can answer questions if you want to put questions in there. But it also gives them an interface to capture the video right there with their phone. And so that is something I've decided that we're going to implement for my site, the defythestatusquo.com, but I'm also going to be implementing it for clients as we build out their experts portfolios, because I know that one of the big things for hosts, video shows, podcast hosts, speakers, they just want to know that you're not going to be boring. So having your actual presentations or your actual interviews and stuff up there is great. But then having those reviews also gives people an opportunity, when they're interested in having you speak, to actually get some real feedback from the people who invited you on. Okay, so don't forget, I'm actually doing another exclusive Marketing Monday live stream within the Defiant Business group. We're actually going to be talking about one of my top tips for growing your LinkedIn network when you don't super have a lot of content to post, or you don't feel comfortable posting content. And if your network is incredibly small, how do you get out there and grow it in an authentic way that doesn't feel super spammy? So that is the live stream that I'm about to do right now. So you've got a couple minutes to go ahead and head on over there, because I'm going to be popping up live in there, and I will see you over there.